What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Reunion Part 2. So, Teresa, in the last week's episode, she was talking about how she believed that it was her brother and her sister-in-law that had turned her into the federal government. She started off by saying that Jacqueline Loretta had told her this because Jacqueline Loretta had said that Melissa and Joe Gorga were hanging out with this business partner of Joe Giudice. This business partner ended up turning on Joe and Teresa and became a witness for the prosecution. And obviously, they probably cut him a really sweet deal to try to take down these reality TV stars. So she's accusing her brother and her sister-in-law of being in cahoots with this business partner and ratting them out to the feds. Now, Melissa absolutely denies it. She said that her and her husband, Joe Gorga, don't even know who this business guy is. So then Teresa kind of changes her tune and says, well, I don't think that y'all directly turned me into the feds. I think that y'all were hanging out with people that turned me into the feds. And once again, Melissa denies it. So, Melissa tells her, well, you know, you're saying that Jacqueline Loretta told you all of this stuff and you're singing her praises because Teresa was like, and Jacqueline told me this and Jacqueline told me that. And so then Melissa says, well, listen to this. And she takes out a text message that Jacqueline Loretta had sent to Jackie. Is it her name Schneider? I forgot what her last name is. What Jacqueline Loretta had sent to Jacqueline. And in that text message, Jacqueline Loretta, Teresa's, BFF, completely ripped her to shreds. Jacqueline Loretta talked about how stupid Teresa was, talked about all the plastic surgery that Teresa had gotten. I mean, she just talked a whole bunch of dirty crap about Teresa. On this show and on any of these franchises, these women are not real friends. They will turn on each other in a heartbeat, and it's all in the name of fame and money, or the lack of fame and money. They will turn on each other in a heartbeat. So someone asked, I think it was Teresa, that said that she believes her brother had something to do with turning them in. But she says that I don't think my brother was trying to get at me. I think he really was trying to get at Joe Giudice, because Joe Giudice and Joe Gorga, they have a long history of not getting along and not liking each other. So I think she had said that I don't think it was necessarily he was trying to get me into trouble. I think he was trying to get, Joe Giudice into trouble. But then, of course, Teresa was all tangled up in all that mess, and she went down with her ex-husband. So do I believe that the Gorgas ratted on Teresa and Joe Giudice? I've been seeing this floating around all over the place, and I have to say that it's hard to say because you can't put anything past any of these people. I can see Joe Gorga wanting to get rid of Joe Giudice so bad that he might have reported him because he didn't like his sister with Joe Giudice, and he probably thought, well, this is my last-ditch effort to get rid of him and get him out of my sister's life is to send him to prison. And he probably didn't know that the feds were going to come after Teresa as well. And I can sort of see that happening, but I don't know. If I had to make a decision, if I had to choose on, do I truly believe that Joe Gorga and Melissa Gorga had anything at all to do with the Giudices going to prison? And if I had to say yes or no, I'm going to have to lean towards no. I don't think that they did. But like I said, you can't put anything past any of these people. Moving on to Rachel. So her husband had lipo, Joe Fuda. Joe Fuda to me also seems like someone who's looking for a come up. Like he's really happy to be on the show, just like Rachel. You can tell people. You can tell people who are just like, oh, I'm so excited to be a part of this. Now I'm going to be famous and I'm going to be rich, make a lot of money. You can tell the people that are just so hungry for the fame, and it's kind of like, in a way, almost all of them. Why else would you be on a reality TV show if you didn't want to be famous? But some people make it more obvious than others. And I think Rachel and her husband, they kind of look like they're real thirsty for the fame. So they talk about the adoption. Rachel said that the adoption became final. Thank God. I was really worried about that. I was worried that it was going to wake up the biological mother and make her not try to make her prevent the adoption from happening. But luckily the adoption went through. So now she is now legally Jaden's legal parent, legal mother. So the biological mother says that Rachel only adopted only adopted Jaden for a storyline. And I think it was Dolores who vouched for Rachel and said, I've known Rachel for years and she's always had wanted to adopt Jaden, had nothing to do with the show. The biological mother says that John Fuda had prevented her from seeing her son. Rachel did not respond to this when Andy brought this up. She didn't say anything to this. So when Andy said that, Rachel just went off and said, well, Louis had someone track her down in prison to try to get information from her. So I saw that she didn't really defend her husband or really respond to the allegation that John Fuda was trying to prevent the bio mom from seeing Jaden. Now, if he did, he probably had very good reason. It seems like the biological mother is somewhat unstable, is going through some stuff. So it's sort of understandable if he was trying to keep the negativity or keep the toxicity away from his son. But then again, this is his mother, and if she wanted to see her son and is just trying to get help for whatever issue she was having, then it is kind of foul that he would prevent the mom from seeing her son. But then again, we don't know this woman. We don't know how she is. We don't know what they've been through, what the child has been through with this biological mother. So I can't really say whether, I agree or don't agree for John Fuda to keep the child away or keep his son away from the mom, because I don't know what their history is. Moving on to Jackie and they brought out Jackie and Fessler. So as far as Fessler, she had a facelift, a nose job, and she had some type of weight loss. I don't know if it was lipo or Ozempic or what it was, but she did look noticeably different. She did. And, good for her. Whatever makes you happy. Okay. Whatever makes you happy. So she says that people were offended when she said on the show that she and James Gandolfini had some type of a love affair. People were really offended by that because they said that, James Gandolfini is not alive to give his side of the story. I don't understand why people were offended by that. I mean, was he married at the time? Is that why it was such a big deal? So it was hard. Then they talked to Jackie, and Jackie, you can tell that she has put on a little bit of weight. I'm pretty sure she's still considered slim and small in in the industry, but to herself, I guess she feels like she has put on a lot of weight, and she says that she really has struggled with the weight that she did gain. She really did struggle with it, and I think she said, I'm not sure, but I think she said something about because of the weight that she had gained, maybe she really wasn't comfortable coming back as a full cast member. I don't know. But she said that it was also hard for her to come back as a friend of the show instead of as a cast member, which made me think that she did want to come back as a full-time cast member, but she was dealing with some stuff. She was dealing with her body image issues, and so I guess she wanted to come back, but when they said that she was going to come back as a friend, she realized that was probably a better idea because she was still struggling through some stuff. She was still working through some body image issues. So they talk about Ozempic, and they asked her what she thought about it because supposedly Dolores has taken Ozempic for weight loss, and Jackie was basically saying that this can be a gateway to body image issues and having an addiction to weight loss, because when you take the Ozempic, you will lose the weight. And then once you're off Ozempic, the weight's going to come back. And now you're struggling with trying to keep it off and trying to lose what you've gained and, how you look and body image issues. So she thinks that can be, a gateway to some issues. Teresa doesn't think that Melissa should joke about drunk texting her ex. Here we go. Teresa, just because it's Melissa, making a big deal out of it. Melissa, as far as Teresa's concerned, Melissa can do no right. Melissa can come up with the cure for AIDS, the cure for cancer, the cure for a whole bunch of other stuff. She can solve world hunger. She can get the United States government completely 100% debt free. Melissa could do all of that, and Teresa will still find something wrong with her. She will still criticize her. So that one particular scene in the episode where they had gone to the pub, I think, and they all gotten drunk, I don't remember. And Melissa says something about drunk texting her ex. Teresa said that because she's a married woman, she shouldn't say that, and that Joe would not take it as a joke. Like I said, it doesn't matter. There's nothing that Melissa could do that's okay with Teresa. Everything Melissa does, Teresa's always going to pick apart, analyze it, and just, find fault in it. It has to be hard for Jennifer to defend Teresa all the time, because sometimes when I looked at Jennifer sitting there next to Teresa, and Teresa would say something completely off the wall, she'll say something ridiculous, she'll say something that's obviously a lie, she'll say something that doesn't make any sense, and I'm looking at Jennifer's face, and you can tell that Jennifer struggles. Jennifer absolutely struggles with some of the things that Teresa says. But because, Teresa's her only connection to the show, she's got to defend her. No matter how crazy, how clownish, how ridiculous Teresa sounds, Jennifer's going to stand by her, because without Teresa, who is she going to be friends with? Who is she going to have scenes with that she's not arguing with? Nobody. Margaret's ex-husband Jan passed away. That was really sad to hear. And Margaret talks about, how she's basically made up with all of her stepchildren except for her stepdaughter, and because of that, being at the funeral was really hard. I didn't even know that Jan died. Rest in peace to him. Margaret's friendship with Laura was based around the show, so they talked about Laura and like why they don't get along, why the friendship between Margaret and Laura ended. And Margaret said that she came to realize she didn't want Laura on the show, but then she realized soon after that their friendship was solely based on Laura wanting to get on the show. So I guess maybe Margaret felt used at some point, that, okay, you don't really like me for me, you just like me right now because you think I can get you on the show. So then that's when Laura moved over to Teresa and Jennifer, and someone had told Laura that the way to get on the show was to cause drama. So that's when she contacted Jennifer and Teresa and started saying all these things about Margaret and making Margaret out to be like the world's worst villain, and that Margaret has an arsenal of information on everybody, etc. So when that was said, Teresa goes, well, it wasn't just us that was trying to get her on the show. Margaret tried to get her on the show too. And Andy looked at her, and Andy was like, yeah, we know. We just said that. Margaret just admitted that she wanted to get Laura on. Like, come on. Pay attention. Pay attention, Tree. So before they started recording, Jennifer had told Melissa about the whole rumor about someone catching Melissa kissing a man in the backseat of some car. So way before they started filming, actually when season 12 was airing, and Jennifer said that she was watching season 12 when it was starting to air, and she was reliving, Margaret talking about Nabil's affair, and she was getting angry again. That's when I guess, she had this idea of exposing Margaret, I guess. I don't know. But Melissa had known about the rumor way before they began recording for season 13. Andy Cohen asked Danielle, so when Danielle said that she was going to tell Melissa, why did you tell her? Basically, Andy Cohen was asking. He was asking, what's her name? Jennifer. Andy Cohen was asking Jennifer, okay, so you knew that Melissa already knew about this rumor. Okay, she already knew about it. So when this season began to record or began to film, why did you go to Danielle and present this rumor information to her as if you didn't know? And that when Danielle said that she was going to go tell Melissa, she told you, well, I have to go tell Melissa about this because I just can't keep this secret. She's my friend. And she would do this for me. So I got to go do this for her. So I'm going to go tell Melissa about this rumor. The question to Jennifer was, why did you let it happen as if Danielle was going to be exposing something, some crazy secret to Melissa? Like, you were acting as if you didn't know that Melissa already knew. And so you let Danielle go make a fool out of herself and tell Melissa something that you knew Melissa already knew, but Danielle didn't know. And so Jennifer says, well, because that was the narrative that was playing out. In other words, this is what me and Teresa concocted to try to embarrass the hell out of Margaret and Melissa, basically. So Andy Cohen asked Danielle, how does it feel to know that she got set up? And you can tell by the look on Danielle's face that she got, that she had no idea that she was being played like a fool, that she was shocked about this information, that she felt some kind of way, finding this out at the reunion. I don't know why she didn't put two and two together while they were recording. Y'all, Danielle, Danielle is just, the lights are on, but absolutely nobody is home. Okay, that's what I'm getting from Danielle. So they asked her, how does it feel to know that you got set up? And so she looks at Teresa and Jennifer and says, did you guys set me up? And Jennifer was like, you know what, I'm sorry if it came off that way. I didn't realize it would come down like this. So then they asked Danielle, how do you feel that you got set up? And Margaret was like, you got manipulated. And Danielle was like, well, I don't feel like I was set up. What else is she going to say? She's smart enough to save face. She's smart enough not to come apart on this stage and to act like, I didn't feel like I was set up. I'm fine. But we know that deep down inside, you're crumbling. You're coming fully apart because the two women that you trusted the most on this show betrayed you. They used you like a puppet. They played you. They manipulated you. And they let you go out there all by your lonesome looking like a complete fool. Everybody knew what the hell was going on but you, Danielle. Melissa blames Teresa. What did she blame? Melissa was blaming Teresa for telling Joe about this rumor because, we all know how the situation went down. Teresa invited her brother to come over. They sat him down, her and Louie, and they told Joe Gorga, hey, we heard this rumor that your wife is cheating on you. She was seen kissing some man in the backseat of a car. So then Joe, of course, comes home and tells his wife. And so Melissa obviously felt some kind of way about that because she sees her sister-in-law as someone who's trying to break up her marriage. And so Melissa blames Teresa 100%. And Teresa's like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was Louie. It was Louie. Louie said it. Louie told him. The only thing I did was I just asked if it came from Margaret. That's all. First of all, how was Melissa supposed to know who said what? She wasn't there. If you would have invited her, then she would have seen with her own eyeballs exactly who told Joe what. But you didn't even invite her. So she has no idea. And because you and her have a history, most likely it was you that told your brother. Because why would Louie be so invested in Melissa and Joe Gorga's marriage? Why would Louie care? Why would he involve himself so much like that? But anyway, whether it was just Louie or just Teresa or the both of them, it doesn't matter. They are together. They're working together. It wasn't like she was trying. The only way for Teresa to not have any blame or fault in this whole rumor situation is if she had told her then fiance, don't you dare tell my brother this because we have no proof, we have no evidence, and I don't want to put stuff in my brother's head to make him think that his wife is cheating on him because I don't want no parts in the breakup of my brother's marriage. I don't want any parts of that. So don't you tell him. If he's going to find out, he's going to find it on his own, but it's not going to come from us. If she would have said that, and then Louie still was like, no, I'm going to tell Joe Gorga. And maybe, he took Joe Gorga out to a bar or met him up somewhere and told him. That's the only way that I wouldn't put any blame on Teresa. But Teresa knew what Louie was going to do because, you have to be an idiot to think that he didn't discuss it with Teresa, that they didn't discuss this together beforehand. She knew what her then fiance was going to do. And she let her brother come over, let her brother sit down, get comfortable on the couch and and just sat there and watched. If she didn't say anything because she said she didn't, and just sat there and watch her fiance tell her brother something that could possibly make him want to be mad at his wife or break up with his wife or whatever. So why? Okay, then, they would take breaks and they would go, we would see what's going on in the dressing room because the guys had arrived. Thank God. Whew, thank God. Sometimes it's like, I need a break from all this damn estrogen on stage and bring in some testosterone. So we see all the guys backstage, all the husbands have arrived. And for some reason, Louie's just walking around topless. Everybody else has clothes on, but he's the only one walking around topless, eating hot Cheetos or whatever the hell he was eating. And I'm like, Louie, put on a shirt. Please put on a shirt. No, sir. So anyways, I'm not saying he has a bad body or anything like that. I'm just like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? So then there's this situation between Louis and Frank Catania and Frankie, because we find out that Frankie had gotten a job with Louis. And I'm wondering if that was the job that they were celebrating when they had that celebratory dinner. And it was Frankie and Gabby and Dolores and Paul and Frank and Brittany. Oh, I remembered everybody's name. So I wonder if that was the dinner they were celebrating, because he had gotten this job with Louis of all people. Oh my God. So anyway, Frankie got this job with Louis, and then I don't know how long this job lasted, but Frank Catania was telling Joe Gorga that the company ended up shutting down. And when it shut down, Louis didn't even have the decency to tell Frankie that the company had shut down and that, his job was over. Frankie found out, I guess, through the grapevine that he no longer had a job. Louis didn't even have the decency, wasn't even man enough to call Frankie and tell him. Moving on from there, Pool House Bill. So they talk about Jennifer and her marriage. And the question was, is Nabil still going to therapy, or something about him wanting to go to therapy? And obviously he doesn't, because he said on the show he was through with therapy. And Jennifer says, that one session that we had with the counselor, it really helped a lot. It did a lot for us, and so our marriage is absolutely thriving right now. We are the happiest that we've ever been as a married couple. And she says that their marriage is great. They're both extremely happy. Nothing could be better. That one session cured everything. And she says that now when Nabil comes home and he bypasses everybody and goes straight to the pool house, she actually joins him. And they have, a grand old time in the pool house together. She's lying. She's lying through her teeth. Let me tell you about Jennifer and Nabil. In my personal opinion, from what I've been observing on this show, I think that Jennifer and Nabil have the kind of marriage where he does not communicate at all with her. I think they have that kind of marriage where Nabil goes through the motions. He wakes up, he goes to work, he works very long hours, he comes home, bypasses everybody, grabs dinner or whatever if he hasn't already eaten before he steps into the house, and he goes to the pool house and he stays there. And everybody else, they're together until they go to bed. And when the coast is clear, maybe that's when he comes back into the house. I don't think Nabil and Jennifer have any kind of interaction at all, period. I think that it's lonely for Jennifer. I think it's extremely lonely for her. I don't think that they have any kind of conversation. I don't think that, I don't think they really do much together. I mean, of course, if she's going to plan something, he'll go. If she's planning a vacation or an event or an outing, he's going to go. He just goes through the motions. He goes through the motions. He does whatever she wants him to do, but I don't think that they are connecting anymore. I think that Nabil is bored with Jennifer. I think that when he married Jennifer, because Nabil is an intellectual, he's a doctor, and so he didn't marry an intellectual equal. I don't think that Nabil really stimulates him in any other way other than the way that makes 5 kids. I don't think she really stimulates. I don't think Jennifer stimulates Nabil in any way. I think he's bored with her, but he's got 5 kids with her. What is he gonna do? He can't leave her. So I think that they're not intellectually equal, and she doesn't stimulate him at all. If she acts at home the way she acts on this show, I have to give much props to Nabil for sticking it through as long as he has. If she's anything at home like the way she is on this damn show, Nabil, God bless you, sir. God bless you. You're putting up with the law. Like I said, he's an intellectual, and she's not. Okay, she's not, and she's annoying. She's extremely annoying, and she's got this mean streak in her, and she's probably a fantastic mother. She probably keeps the house extremely organized, but as far as his partner, if he could, he wishes he would have chosen someone else. I think when they met, he was this, aspiring doctor, and she was just going to be one of those typical supportive, wives, that was going to do what was expected of her as a wife. She's going to cook and clean and keep the house for him and, run his baths and cater to him. And it was nice while it lasted, but then that could only keep you happy for so long. And it is what it is. I don't know. I don't believe that she's happy. I think she's lonely. I think Jennifer is extremely lonely. And I think that's why it's easy for her to attach herself to someone like Teresa, because she's lonely. Her and her husband, I don't think they're on that level where they're like, where they like each other and want to be around each other. Anyways, I've said enough about Jennifer and Bill. The question is, isn't it hypocritical for Jennifer to try to expose Melissa's affair after Bill's affair was exposed? And Jennifer says that she just basically wanted payback. She wanted to do to them what they did to her. And then Melissa was like, but I didn't do anything to you. I wasn't the one that exposed the affair. It was Margaret. And in their twisted mind, they think they were exposing Margaret because they wanted Melissa to believe that Margaret was the one that started the rumor about her kissing this man. So they thought they were really exposing Margaret. That's just dumb. Okay, the whole thing is just dumb. It's dumb as hell. Obviously, I think the ultimate goal was to expose Melissa, to make Melissa look bad. I think that they wanted a way to bring up this rumor on the show. They had to have it on the show. And so that's why they used Danielle to make it seem like she was going to tell Melissa something that people have been saying behind her back and whatever. I think that they wanted to embarrass Melissa on television. And that was the purpose. That was the whole point of it all. I'm beginning to doubt whether or not, I don't even know. I'm beginning to doubt whether or not, I feel like they just made this story up. Them with Laura, they just made this story up. And Laura was like, you know what? Margaret told me, even though Margaret didn't say anything, Margaret told me that, someone told her that Melissa was caught kissing a guy. I think they made the whole thing up. I think they wanted to expose Melissa, and they wanted to, expose her on TV and embarrass her and humiliate her. And they were hoping that the people would drag her for filth. And they were hoping that Joe Gorga would look at his wife crooked. And it just backfired on them. Margaret says Louis called her son and threatened him, and she had the phone records to prove it. And she pulled out the phone records, and everybody confirmed that that was Louis' phone number, even Teresa. And so Teresa just kind of dismissed it as spoofing, where you can call someone using someone else's number. It will come up on their phone as someone else's number. And the whole thing about spoofing, though, was that the person who's spoofing isn't going to say anything on the phone because they're just going to expose themselves. So if I'm trying to make it look like Margaret is calling Teresa, when Teresa answers the phone, oh, Margaret's calling me. Hello. Me as the spoofer, I can't say anything. And then Andy and Melissa confirm, like, yeah, if you're spoofing, you're not going to speak, because they said that it's happened to all of them, where they've gotten calls and it looks like someone from the cast is calling you. And then when you answer, there's nobody there. And Andy said this, Melissa said this, that the person will never answer, won't respond. And here comes Teresa. Well, they respond when I answer. Okay. So if it says that Margaret is calling you, and you answer thinking that it's Margaret, and you claim that the spoofer is responding, what did you say to them? Did you say, hey, this isn't Margaret? How are you calling me from Margaret's number? Like, what was the rest of the story, Teresa? What happened after, you claimed that this spoofer actually was talking to you on the phone? What did they say? Because the whole thing about the spoofer is that they don't want to be exposed, so they won't say anything. So, yes, I believe that Louis called Margaret's son and threatened him. I don't think it was a spoof. I think that, and another thing, to spoof someone, you have to, call them on their cell phone number, because people will have other people saved, and, all kinds of, like, you can have your husband saved as my love, or have your mother saved as mommy or something. So when it pops up in however you saved them in your phone. You can't spoof someone from a landline, because nothing will come up other than a phone number. So Margaret's son said that somebody called him at work and they threatened him. And I guess he told his mom about it. He took down the number, showed it to his mom, I'm assuming. And then Margaret was able to put two and two together and realize that it was Louis. And of course, Teresa denies this. I do believe it. I do believe it. I wish I knew what was said. What did Louis say to Margaret's son? But I'm more inclined to believe that it was Louis than it being a spoofer calling her son at his job on his job's secured landline when they could have just called him on a cell phone. I don't know. Melissa says, okay, so finally the men come out, and during the break we can hear they take a break, and Danielle goes to the back to go talk to her husband, and she tells her husband, they set me up. They set me up. You know, you hear this, we don't see it. Oh, they set me up. They set me up. And I thought it was hilarious. And now you believe that they set you up? At least you're coming to terms with that, because I was getting kind of worried about Danielle. Like, if she truly, truly believes she was not used as a pawn, then she's stupid as all get out. But now I see that she's realizing, yeah, she was used. They did use her. And she's probably not going to do anything about it. She's probably still going to stay their friends because she's stupid. Danielle is stupid. I hate to say this. I don't know any other way to say it. She's not that smart. You know, the brain cells are not connecting. Anyways, that's my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.